When others don't, Nissan delivers. 0% financing on many of Nissan's most popular models. Or a brand new Versa for under $10,000. When you need it most, Nissan delivers.
Welcome to the Heisman Blitz, sponsored by Nissan. I'm Jenny Carlson, and this is Jake Trotter. All right, Jake, all of the games are over. What's the situation with the Heisman Trophy right now?
Well, I think there's a good chance we're going to see one of the tightest Heisman races in years. You have three contenders, essentially, and a fourth outsider in Graham Harrell. But the contenders are Bradford from Oklahoma, Colt McCoy from Texas, and obviously Tim Tebow, the defending Heisman Trophy winner at Florida. And I think all three of those guys are going to get a lot of votes.
There was some talk early in the year that Tim Tebow was maybe at a little disadvantage because of being the returning winner. Is there any chance that plays into what happens this Saturday in New York?
Well, if you don't live up to what you did the year before, it can be a disadvantage. If Bradford had won the Heisman last year, I think he'd been in pretty good shape. He's obviously outplayed his freshman season. I don't know if Tebow statistically has done what he did last year, but his team is a lot better than it was a year ago, and obviously they're playing for the national championship. That can't hurt.
Talk about the other guy that's going to be on the national championship stage, Sam Bradford. He had another great game on Saturday in the Big 12 championship game.
There was a lot of talk this week about how, we didn't deserve to be in this game, and, we didn't get a lot of credit for what we had done this year. So I think there was a lot of motivation for us to come out and play well tonight and prove to everyone in the country that we belonged in this game.
Then turned around less than 12 hours later and had hand surgery. What's the latest with Sam?
Should be fine. He's going to be probably a week and a half out of practice, and then they're not even practicing this week anyway, so it doesn't matter. But then he'll be back. He'll be able to take shotgun snaps and throw the ball. It'll probably be December 30th, 31st before he can get under center and take some snaps, is what Stoops said last night. So should be fine for the national championship. The procedure went well as far as we know.
There's been some talk about how Colt McCoy factors into this whole thing. Could he get some sympathy votes? Because people are still a little bit sore about Texas not making the Big 12 championship game. What are you hearing, and what do you feel about how Colt McCoy factors in?
In Kansas City Big 12 title, we talked to a lot of people who had Heisman votes, and Colt McCoy I think is going to get a lot of looks from a lot of voters. The thing that people like about him is over Sam is that the argument is that Colt doesn't have the supporting cast that Sam does, to which I say, well, you can't find a better receiving duo than Cosby and Shipley. But as far as the depth of receivers and the offensive line and the running backs, obviously Bradford has an advantage over Texas and McCoy. But he did. The argument is that he did more with less, and he was more valuable to that team than Bradford was with Oklahoma. And I see the argument. I mean, you take McCoy off Texas and you put Childs there, they probably win 7 or 8 games. You take Bradford off OU, they don't go 11 or 12-1, but they probably win 9 or 10 games still. There's just a lot of talent all over the field. So that's a decent argument and one that people will make.
You've obviously thought about these arguments. You voted already. How'd you vote?
Well, I voted Bradford won. The reason being, first of all, they're the best team in the nation, or one of the 2 best teams in the nation, according to BCS. The offense, though, and what it's done in context of history was really the selling point for me. You're talking about an offense that has scored 700 points. That hasn't happened since 1904. You're talking about an offense that is averaging 54 points a game. That's never happened in the modern era. And you're talking about an offense that scored 60 straight to close the year in 5 straight games. That hasn't happened in the post-war era either. So you look at those numbers and the guy who's most intricate to that success, and that's Bradford. And then you look at his numbers individually, and he just smashes everyone. So, and on top of that, he's arrived on the biggest stages. I mean, the Big 12 championship, he played well. Oklahoma State, he played well, even when he was hurt. And then the Texas game, which would be the only reason to vote against him, he still had 5 touchdowns in that game. So I think the case is very strong for him.
We know how Jake voted. We'll find out how all of the Heisman voters voted on Saturday night from New York City. Thanks for joining us on the Heisman Blitz, sponsored by Nissan.